Alright, this is part 2 of my practice game against Mark, and we're going to be entering the mid game, where the Zerg is going to start trying to be aggressive, and the Protoss is going to start hanging on for his dear life. But as I said, I am trying a brand new style. I kind of just experimented with it. I absolutely crushed this 1200 Protoss earlier today using this style. But actually, Mark kind of helped me see the holes in it and the things I need to do. I realized I can't be as passive with this as I thought I could be, and I really need to get this infestation pit out faster. I think it's a little bit too late. He did really punish me by taking this third really early. I wasn't expecting it to be that early, especially with those stalkers coming out. But yeah, this game actually helped me refine this sort of strategy a lot. Let's look from Mark's point of view, actually. So one big thing I would suggest to him is maybe building an extra observer and looking around here. He's not really scouting gases, so the problem with that is he has absolutely no idea what is coming. He sees infestors, so he should know that no mutas are coming, yet he builds, these cannons back here. I'm not exactly sure if this is because he's worried about burrowed infestors maybe creeping along the edge or something. But yeah, if I had a suggestion, I would be to make sure to look at the gases of the Zerg, especially in the natural and the third. If you see 6 gases, expect tech, and try to get a look at this hive. So maybe building an extra observer would be very helpful. You can see the hive, you can see the timings of everything. If you don't see a hive for a really long time, expect an all-in and play more defensive. When you see the hive, you can probably take this fourth and just try and be as aggressive as you can be. It's really, the game is, the matchup is really about who when can you be passive and when do you need to jump into action. So at this point, I'm definitely being too passive. But this army probably should not be here. I think this army should be back here. The reason is if this army dies, the game ends. If I had attacked before this Colossus came out, he did have his army here. And if I had attacked right then, I believe he would have just lost the game. I believe I would have just crushed it. With spamming Infested Terrans around a Stalker Sentry Immortal based army with no splash and fungal growths, this army would have melted. The Colossus makes him safer to do what he's doing, but still very risky, especially with no observer with the army. I would caution against doing what you're doing, or caution against having your army here. Be a little bit more defensive. Be here. When you want to take your fourth, then you can kind of move it to maybe this area. But this is way too far forward right now. I understand wanting the watchtower and whatnot, but let's say a counterattack came through here. Your army would have to, from this area, you would have to run around. They would probably auto path to here, and then this army could then run here and into this natural, which is really bad. So you want your army to be more centralized and not so vulnerable. So that would be my suggestion, to reposition army here. You can see now I'm teching the Broodlords, I'm going to spine, I'm building a ton of spines. At this point, because you're getting close to max as a Zerg, your minerals should be going into drones and spines and no longer Zerglings. Zerglings are going to become quite useless with the Colossus count rising so quickly. I like the double robo, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that in the first part, but I like it. It's pretty cute. I would be very careful. I would probably never go above 6 Colossus unless you're positive that he's going a heavy ground style. Again, with observers. What I did learn about this is this map is kind of hard. It's hard to guard this space and this space with spines. I also learned that I really need creep tumors. Using overlords to spread creep is really ghetto and really not effective. When he attacks, he kills the overlords, you get supply blocked, and you don't have creep. It's really bad. So here comes his first engagement. I would be careful. I would be cautious about this engagement. I'm not exactly sure if this is the right thing to do. I miscontrol infestors, so he actually gets a good win out of this attack. But I would be careful. There's no point at this moment to be trying to excuse me, to be trying to break through a wall of spines, infestors, and broodlords. If anything, he should have checked here, and then if there's nothing here, pulled back and be satisfied that he's setting up this fourth. I like that he's getting the Stargate with his fourth base, and then getting the fleet beacon. hope that he is going to add the Temple Archives. I know it's positioned somewhere around here. I hope that it's building soon. I think that is the right timing for both the Fleet Beacon and the Temple Archives, around the time of the 4th base. Because if you can keep your gateway count high enough, you'll actually see Stalkers do fine against Broodlords. It's just when the Broodlords get to obscene numbers and the Infestors have a lot of energy, that's when the Stalkers are going to have a really big problem with it. But if they do not, if the Infestors run out of energy and they do not have, like, say, 16 plus Broodlords, Stalkers will do okay. So don't worry about it. Oh, there's the Temple Archives. So that's good. And look, adding more gateways, very good, very good. Remember, your gateways are your lifeblood in this matchup. They are the strength. People think, oh, everyone fears the Colossus, everyone fears the Mothership. The gateways are your lifeblood in this matchup. Stalkers are probably the best unit in this matchup, to me. Blink Micro makes Stalkers almost impossible to fight. That's why Blink All-Ins work so well against Zerg. Colossus are support units. Mothership is a support unit. The big beef of your army is the Stalker. It's just like for Terran, the big meat of the Terran army is generally Marines. You'll see tanks, you'll see Thors, but tanks and Thors are support units unless they start going really like 3 factory off of 3 base or something, or 2 factory off of 2 base. Then it starts getting a little wild, but different matchup. So here we go. This is a pretty big mistake on his part, I think, making the Mothership at an exposed Nexus. He even admitted later that this was a mistake. He thought he was building it here. I actually would have liked it in the 3rd. I think it makes the most sense. You want it as close to the fight as possible, but not quite this close. So here we go. This is going to be what I'm talking about. You see the Infestors? They're starting to run out of energy. I can keep picking Stalkers off, but because of the warp-in mechanic, he's going to be able to keep warping Stalkers in. And you're going to see just this flood of Stalkers, and the Broodlord count is starting to get low, 10. The Infestors have no energy, and this is going to be right around the time he can spring into action. Blink forward, boom, snipe 1, snipe 2, snipe 3, snipe 4, snipe 5. Look, I mean, he's sacrificing Stalkers for Broodlords, and this is an amazing trade for him. He kills like 6 more Infestors here, and look, completely fine. So when you see Broodlords and you build this Mothership, it's not a time to panic. If you have your gateway count up, if you have this 4th base saturated, you are fine. Do not panic. Do not be like, oh my god, I need the Mothership right now. I need a Mothership yesterday. Just try not to overplay Colossus. I think this Voider is a mistake. It's a little too cute, a little overthinking it. And I think these 2 Colossus is a mistake. You don't want to build more than 6. If anything, maybe Immortals. But from the composition I'm showing him, don't build Immortals. So here is a big turning point in this game. I think if I had sniped this Nexus, the game ends. The Mothership actually gets out with 1 second. Yeah, I'm not too happy. I actually even thought this Nexus was still alive. I didn't notice it died. I thought it got cloaked. So, yeah, that really disappointed me. But I actually get in here, do a little bit of damage, economic damage. Remember, Zerglings are throwaway, so this is really good for me. Good blink forward. He knows he's just trying to save as many probes as he can. And we're going to be nearing the end of part 2. I think he did a very strong transition into late game, and you are going to see our late game battles, which are going to be defined about him denying this base and him trying to take this base. That should be the Protoss's goal. The Zerg's goal is to take this base and to deny this base, so vice versa. And we'll see how it plays out. So we will be going to part 2 now.